All right. All right. We're back. We had a little lapse there. Our internet likes to just shiitake on us on occasion, so a little unstable there. Poor network connection. Yeah. We'll figure that out eventually. All right. So, we were finishing up a little bit of anatomy of the state here, just covering the backbone of what is the core understanding of true libertarianism. Like when you hear somebody say I'm a libertarian, they might just have an idea of the surface at this point. I mean, I was a neocon thinking I was for small government, and the indoctrination machine is pretty thick. They do a good job with the media, the indoctrination machine of the schools. When you're growing up with ideas of liberty, and then they're trying to like tell you that doing what you're doing is in defense of liberty, and it's kind of like it does not compute. You're killing people, you're taking their land, you're how is bending liberty maybe coming. I don't know, there's got to be an end game is the whole thing. There was no end game for any of these wars. That's the military industrial complex. All right, we're going to knock out what the state is, and then I'm going to leave you to the rest of Anatomy of the State. A very short read. It's about a 40, I think, 7 pages, 70. Yeah, it's 40, 57. Not even, 56. No, 55. That's it. 55 pages of pure philosophical amazing. All right, let's go and knock this out. What the state is. Man is born. It could have been the pretzel rocks being. I back. All right. What the state is. The man is born naked into the world and needing to use his mind to learn how to take the resources given to him by nature and to transform them, for example, by investment into capital, into shapes and forms and places where the resources can be used for the satisfaction of his wants and the advancement of his standard of living. The only way by which man can do this is by the use of his mind and energy to transform resources. Production. And to exchange these products for products created by others. Man has found that through the process of voluntary mutual exchange, the productivity and hence the living standards of all participants in exchange may increase enormously. The only natural course for man to survive and to attain wealth, therefore, is by using his mind and energy to engage in the production and exchange process. He does this first by finding natural resources and then by transforming them, by mixing his labor with them, as Locke puts it, to make them his individual property. And then by exchanging his property for the similarly obtained property of others. The social path dictated by the requirements of man's nature, therefore, is the path of property rights and the free market of gift or exchange of such rights. Through this path, men have learned how to avoid the jungle methods of fighting over scarce resources so that A can only acquire them at the expense of B, and instead to multiply those resources enormously in peaceful and harmonious production and exchange. The great German sociologist Franz Oppenheimer painted out that there are two mutually exclusive ways of acquiring wealth. One, the above way of production and exchange he called the economic means. The other way is simpler and it does not require productivity. It is the way of seizure of another goods and services by the use of force and violence. This method is of one-sided confiscation, of theft of the property of others. This is the method which Oppenheimer's termed the political means to wealth. It should be clear that the peaceful use of reason and energy in production is the natural path for man, the means for his survival and prosperity on this earth. It should be equally clear that the coercion, exploitative means is the contrary to natural law. It is parasitic, for instead of adding to production, it subtracts from it. The political means siphons from production off to a parasitic and destructive individual or group. And this siphoning not only subtracts from the number producing, but also lowers the there you go. You can make it bigger. I can make it bigger when I read. Alright, here we go. It also lowers the producer's incentive to produce beyond his own subsistence. In the long run, the robber destroys his own subsistence by dwindling or eliminating the source of his own supply. But not only that, even in the short run, the predator is acting contrary to his own true nature as a man. We are now in a position to answer more fully the question, what is the state? The state, in the words of Oppenheimer, is the organization of political means. It is the systemization of the predatory process over a given territory. For crime at best is sporadic and uncertain. The parasitism is ephemeral, and the coercion, parasitic lifeline, may be cut off at any time by the resistance of the victims. The state provides a legal, orderly, systematic channel for the predation of private property. It renders certain secure and relatively peaceful of the lifeline of the parasitic caste in society. Since production must always precede predation, the free market is anterior to the state. The state has never been created by a social contract. It has always been born in conquest and exploitation. The classic paradigm was a conquering tribe, pausing in its time-honored method of looting and murdering a conquered tribe. To realize that the time span of plunder would be longer and more secure, and the situation more pleasant if the conquered tribe were allowed to live and produce, with the conquerors settling among them as rulers, exacting a steady annual tribute. One method of the birth of the state may be illustrated as follows. In the hills of southern Ruritania, a bandit group manages to obtain physical control over the territory. And finally, the bandit chieftain proclaims himself king of the sovereign and independent government of South Ruritania. And if he and his men have the force to maintain this rule for a while, lo and behold, a new state has joined the family of nations. And the former bandit leaders have been transformed into the lawfully nobility of the realm. And there you go. And it goes on. This book goes on to how the state preserves itself, and it talks about creating the boogeyman, if you will. It's the other one, how the state transcends its limits. What the state fears. This is always good. What the state fears above all, of course, is any fundamental threat to its own power and its own existence. The death of the state can come about in two major ways: through conquest by another state, or through revolutionary overthrow by its own subjects. In short, a war or revolution. War and revolution, as the two basic threats, invariably arouse in the state rulers their maximum efforts and maximum propaganda among the people. As stated above, any way must always be used to mobilize the people to come to the state's defense in the belief that they are defending themselves. The fallacy of the idea becomes evident when conscription is wielded against those who refuse to defend themselves and are therefore forced into joining the state's military band. Needless to add, no defense is permitted against this act of the state. Pretty much, you just look at Hitler and like the rise of the youth, and even like commie Russia back in the heyday. Hell, even look at America these days. We got the all that stuff, but we're a little bit more voluntary still. We're not like, no, you must join us. Like we did have that. It's not like we didn't. Our governments forced us to go and join the military. I mean, they kind of do that too. They kind of make you like don't work and become like useless to society by just playing games and or doing something. So then you got like nothing else to look for. And then you join the military-industrial complex and they're happy. Or you just become a drone worker. One of those things. So, yeah, recommend it. Fellow nerds, it is free to read. Go on to Mises.org, Mises.org. I will actually put a link to this in good old chat there. Yeah, that is to the actual book itself. It is free to read. Mises.org is a great website. A lot of knowledge and goodness. Actually, homepage for you all as well. And there's Mises. There you go. Cheers, nerds. Hope you enjoy that. Have at it. Expand your mind and knowledge and power. The idea of liberty is a young idea in real, like, span of humans. Like, we've always been thinking about it, and we go through it of like, we can do this, and then one other person beats us up, and then they go, no, you can't. We're like, yeah, you're right. And then it's like, you know, you must pay me, and I'll protect you. You can't protect yourself. Teach a man to fish. Fuck that. You know, in practice, it's an idea. It's an idea that we haven't gone through many, many times in reality. You know, it's been struggled. And what I mean by it's a short term, when you think of 2,000 years or 4,000 years, hell, even a million years on this rock, that's really like a speck of time in the billions of years of the solar system, and let alone the Big Bang of whenever even that little spark happened. Us being all like we're like this big, and then there's like, you know, to us how small an ant is, then how small our planet is to like just even the sun. Our own soul is massive, and then you got those. Anyway, I digress. I can get into that stuff all day long. Let's get into something that's interesting here. Is that Ronnie Boy, the Ron Paul revolution, started back in 2007-8. I got in it around then as a Tea Partier. Didn't really know much about the full throttle of the Federal Reserve then. I just knew something was wrong. And then in 2012, it became more I'm looking for. It just was more obvious to me that the Federal Reserve, what the Federal Reserve was, it was brought to my attention. All of that, the Federal Reserve, the wars, the connecting dots of all this stuff, and then the corruptions that people have within that fiat paper money, of laundering, bribing, using, just literally a list of things that people do. So, all right, we're gonna knock out a little bit more because our stream broke before it broke. You little bastard. Paul Krugman rides into the sunset. If you haven't known who Goldwater was or Ron Paul, look them up. Have at it. You need to look up those representatives of liberty in the last century. Ron Paul's still around, kicking, standing up for liberty, and grateful that did stand as one of those things that people say about term limits. If we had term limits, Ron Paul wouldn't have been in. What we got to do as again, if Ron Paul was termed to only do 2 terms, we would not have known about him. But we as people need to hold them accountable. Fucking San Francisco, kick Pelosi out. Arizona, I think it's Arizona, whatever the Mitch McConnell douchebag's in. That fucking douchebag get out of there. Like the list of neocons, you know, get them out of here. They're not for you, they're for themselves. They are not for shrinking government. I have said it before and I'll say it again. I will vote for anybody that is for shrinking government. If you are shrinking government and the spending and reducing the red tape of permissions and just code is code. There's certain things I believe that, like, you know, I kind of find registration of knowledge to improve. Like for building codes, you know, it's not up to code. It's kind of that, like, that handyman do it right or do it, you know, Just get it done right. You know, don't half-ass it. That's, I think, where the problem rolls. But anyway, I'm excited for 2025, to be honest. I was not. And again, you got to keep it in mind. The media is good. Both sides are good. They bring us back and forth. If Trump doesn't cut spending, if he sends us to another war and we go, you know, I mean, right now we got Biden and the commie party really pushing war because they need to. I'm not surprised. Hey, wait, Ukraine, you can have some long-range missiles now. Like, just start, like, it's like just starting, like, going around a room and he's, like, pissing on everybody and, like, not expecting the people to be mad. And I think the whole thing is that we are witnessing, I mean, society goes through this pendulum swing of, like, is it this way or this way? And then maybe it's in the middle. And we definitely hit a point, I think, of just extremes. And we're like, this is retarded. Also, just reflecting. I think humans as a species, we were going through a literal, like, a midlife crisis. So that's how old we are as a species. We're just in our, like, maybe. I mean, I really don't even think that. I think we're just, like, in our 20s going, like, I want that. Not even. No, we're, like, in our teens, I think, maybe as this streamline of time, you know? Yeah, we're like that young. We were in the entertainment era, in my opinion. Like, you know, we got these movies. We figured out how to record things, and we're like, look at us now. Like, we're like, wow. Like, we're like, all in the phone. Communication is powerful. I bravo to that. I think it's an amazing tool. Everything's got a double-edged sword. You know, hell, there's even flowers that can poison you and eat bugs. You know, nature, fucking nuts, man. Always gotta love it. Whew. People say, you always go to the acid-spitting insect. Yes, because that is fucked up. I mean, I can go down a bunch of other things. There's lemurs that eat arsenic fucking trees. I mean, you know, just look at any bird. Those things are fucking nuts. Going to peregrine falcon, flying 200 some miles an hour down and knocking a bird out. Then you got the albatross thing. That thing will fucking eat you. That's like a pterodactyl, man. So yeah. So humans, we're young, we're civil, we're at least not pulling Cain and Abel all the time. Some of us are murderers, sadly. Praise for peace on all that, all those sad moments of life. You know, when people reach points of no return, that is sad. I've talked to situations where you go like, what do you got to lose? You know, people, you know, and then the CEO thing that this kid is like, you know, people are finding out, you know, who he is and this, that, the other. And like AI, dude, there's so much shit out there. Like, you don't even know. This could all be like, yeah, it's this kid. We got him. Like, did you really get him? You're just like painting this all up. I don't know. I don't know, man. But it keeps me up at night. All right, so fellow nerds, we have Ron Paul talking to Elon Musk. Let's kind of go with one of those things. Like that's just like badass. Like, oh yeah, this tickled my fancy. This tickled my fancy, nerds. Before we go for the day, let's get into some of the good stuff, shall we? Yes, Elon Musk agrees with Ron Paul's call to eliminate. Oh yeah, eliminate foreign aid. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, we gotta allow ads. Yeah, fuck off. I don't care. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to read you then. Fox News, fuck off. I know. I already know about the, like, foreign aid of America is like the money laundering, like, kicker. You know? It's just like, where's our money going? To these people. What are they doing with it? Buying stuff. What are they buying? Hookers. I mean, just look at, like, when you look at, people get, like, Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, and they're like, look at them. Look at them with all them hoes. Yeah, because we were sending them a shit ton of money, and what do you think these guys are gonna do? They're like, I can buy any woman I want. I can buy any vehicle, any woman I want. I don't know why they have that accent. I don't even think they had that accent, but I'm just giving it to them. Sorry. Joe, they weren't Hindu. I didn't think that they were talking like this. Somebody's like, that's a cultural appropriation. Ron Paul is not wrong. Yeah, Elon, you got it, boy. Fuck yeah. Dude, Ron Paul has been it. You know, if you really, like, people say, Alex Jones was right all along. Joe Rogan was right all along. Let me just, like, let me pull, like, you know those like memes where there's like the statues and they're praising, and then they got like Dragon Ball Z as the big one, and then it's like, you know, some people say One Piece should now be there, but you can't. Nope, you can't. Dragon Ball Z first, then One Piece, then Naruto for sure, and then you got the other ones. Ron Paul is that. Ron Paul is, when you go and do your research and you go into the fucking archives of this man, you go, wow. He was literally not budging. Not once, never. And it's understandable when you feel liberty and you understand what good it's going to do for society, for truly what humans can reach with this example that we've had, and it's been done and just grew a little bit. It's like you see a plant growing from somebody watering it and talking to it, like getting it some sunlight, and then you go over to these other plants where there's people like that are just blaring music, and they're like marching around it, they're yelling at it, and the things are growing like really like deformed, and this one starts to grow a little bit nicer. And then everybody's like, no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it. It's like, no, man, I believe, you know, and then he just starts to see this grow. And then, you know, that's really kind of what's happening. Everybody was like yelling at him, going like, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, bring our troops home, you fucking nutbag. You believe in aliens. Fucking crazy. First off, our own fucking planet has plenty of aliens. Just saying. Octopus. An octopus is pretty fucked up. Not really. I mean, they're pretty fucking amazing, actually. But you know what I mean. I'm just saying. All right, so let's finish up here before I go on my rant. Ronnie boy. I gotta say, Elon Musk has had me on the red flag mark for a while, but if he really truly goes this route of, you know, he must have, he was always like that, China, this, that, the other, with their what's up. I think he likes those things, but he's not really for Big Brother, even though he might be. He might be the, you know, the guy in Terminator 2 who, like, actually is the reason that the whole thing gets created, but he didn't mean to. And then he's like sitting there going, get out of here. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, you're fucking gotta go see the movie. Terminator 2. I'll be back. Coming on. Alright, come on. We're going to do it. Ron Paul is going to do it. Get us to the chopper. To liberty. Ah. Anyway. Alright, nerds. I am truly excited to hit this back in action for you all. I'm shifting some gears in the future. Mondays for sure, and Tuesdays I'll be able to do a little bit more streaming. I'm working on scheduling in for 2025 the Nerd Revolution Radio. We are actually bringing a few things to the table. I've been in the works in the background with my Dance Wizards, Critics Cafe. D&D is definitely going to be coming. I'm pushing to set up a time with my fellow nerds to figure out a live stream time with that. Get nerdy and silly with you all. We might do like pre-recorded ones on that and then just share it on YouTube. But good stuff ahead. All around. Sure. All right. So the thing about liberty I would say the most is that there's a lot of controversial ideas at the beginning, and as you just stay with an open mind I always say I would rather be wrong. Prove me wrong with some of my ideas. I want to learn. So my idea is one belief. Is there another form, another perspective to look at this direction of this object? And is your perspective right? Your perspective might be right, but is the material still clay? And, we're just calling the shape oval or flat, and it's actually has nothing to do with the reality of its matter. Dun dun dun. Soft sciences. Anyway. Life is balanced, nerds. Enjoy the ride and rock and roll. It is great to be back. I look forward to bringing more nerdiness to you in the future. The Nerd Revolution Radio is still going on. It does continue. Check us out on Twitch. Again, follow us on YouTube. We will possibly be bringing in, dare I say, TikTok. But we will be going into Instagram as well. Facebook, I really don't get in on the Nerd Revolution, but we will be changing things up this year. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe, share button, all that good stuff. Expand the revolution. Tell somebody about it. Let them know. Hey, there's this guy. He's doing a nerdy thing. Because the whole thing is that there's a nerd inside all of us. That's where this whole thing started from. I believe that we as a species need to remind ourselves that we have individuality, but we are all united under certain things. And in embracing our nerdiness, embracing our noobiness, that we're all noobs and nerds in certain actions, certain aspects of our lives. I'm a noob in certain things for damn sure. I sure as hell am a noob, but I sure as heck am a nerd in others. And that's the beauty of us all. There's that passion that you find, that you run with, that individuality that you like. And just as the tradesmith may say, with the topic being the free market, as always, with Mises, and how do we build upon that free market versus becoming a political market, if you will, political means, is that a man once said, what skill do you have or willing to learn that you could trade? And that was it. That's it. What are you willing to learn? I mean, if you want to sit there on a sloth and be a sloth, expect to what you get. You're going to sit there and be a sloth, and you're going to find some hunger, and then you're going to go, I want it. And the government goes, we'll get it for you. And then they get it for you. And then how else? That's the thievery. They're the ones that are thieving without you knowing it. And you're just like, it's cool. And then eventually they run out of somebody else's money. But they keep printing money, so I guess that's how they work it. But eventually it runs out because that's history, and devaluing the currency is a real historical fact. So, God bless humans. Stay well, stay nerdy, and remember, life is balance. Enjoy the ride and rock and roll. See you next time. Peace.